everybody. It's Abby Glassenberg. I hope you are having a wonderful Wednesday. We are here live every Wednesday at noon to do our member spotlight, where we have the opportunity to drop in on a Craft Industry Alliance member and learn more about their business journey. Sometimes we get to see a little bit of their studio, see samples of their work, etc. So it's always really fun and a great way to sort of get inspired and just kind of learn more about our amazing members. So today we're going to be talking with Michele Costa from Gosadi, and so look forward to that. She should be here momentarily. And I did want to just mention too that we just announced an upcoming webinar. We have a webinar every month taught by an industry expert. And our webinar for the month of June is going to be taught by Katie Gelhausen. And it's all about email list building. So if building your email list is something you're interested in, I definitely think it should be something you're interested in because it's really important for business success to build your email list. Katie is an expert on this topic, and she's going to provide us with really concrete, doable list building techniques to make sure that you're set up for success and are constantly adding new email addresses to your email list, and of course then emailing those people with content that they would be interested in to help to build your business. So if that sounds like something you would be interested in joining us for, it's going to be next week. It's on June 20th, which is a Friday. We usually host our webinars on Thursdays, but Thursday is a holiday next week, so we're going to do it on Friday, and it's going to be at 1 p.m. Eastern. So please join us for that. And if you like learning and learning specific skills and techniques to help grow your business, I hope you will join us as a Craft Industry Alliance member, because we offer a webinar every single month. I'll just give you a little preview for July's webinar, which is going to be taught by Ariane at AO Lydia. And Ariane is an incredible Shopify expert. She really runs like the best of the best when it comes to Shopify design firms. And she's going to be teaching us next month about like maximizing and optimizing your e-commerce listings. So she taught a similar class at H&H Americas, and it was extremely popular. People were sitting on the floor. So if that seems like something that you would like to learn more about, and it does apply beyond just Shopify. She's a Shopify expert, but she does talk about strategies no matter what platform you're on to make sure that when somebody lands on an e-commerce listing, maybe from an Instagram link or from Facebook or from your email newsletter, that listing is optimized for success so that you really convert every single person who comes to your website into somebody who becomes a buyer. So that'll be our July webinar, and our August webinar is going to be about funding, different funding opportunities and ways that kind of think outside the box to scale your business with investments. And honestly, we've never done a webinar on that topic, and I'm super excited about that one. So I will keep that one under wraps until we get to August, but we have a great lineup coming into the fall as well. We actually have all of our webinars planned out through January, believe it or not. So we really try to hire the best people to teach our members. So if that sounds like interesting to you, please check out Craft Industry Alliance membership. Michelle, if you're here, you can feel free to join. I didn't see you in here, but hopefully you'll be here shortly. And I'll just give you all, since you're here, a little other previews of what's going on at Craft Industry Alliance. Believe it or not, we are already starting to plan H&H Americas 2026. I know we just got back, it feels like, but we plan all the education at H&H, and so we have to get started early, and so we're starting already with that. I already have my spreadsheet, and each year it gets bigger and better. So then there's more work to do, but it's really fun work, and we get to bring in like all the best people to speak and teach. So, hey Michelle, how are you?
I'm good. It's been a morning. How are you?
I'm good too. I know you had a little veterinary emergency this morning, so I'm happy you're back. And
Me too.
is everything okay? Hopefully it is.
Yeah, crazy. My dog scratched his cornea, and
Oh,
yeah, it's really scary. It sounds really scary. But apparently it was good that it was topical and they were able to treat right away and get right away. So thanks for being flexible with
yeah.
me in the chaos of my morning, which,
No, you know what? That's how life is sometimes. And I have a dog named Steve, and my family is obsessed with him. And so, if anything is amiss with Steve, then, everybody's like focused on the dog. So, I totally understand.
yeah, my dog is literally lets me live in his house. He lets me work in my office, which is in the house. It's really nice of him to let me live my life in his world. So
Understood, 100%. So, Michelle, welcome. We're glad that you're here, and you've been a Craft Industry Alliance member for a little while, and you have a business called Gosadi. So, tell us a little bit about what that is.
So thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Yeah, I think I've joined when you launched CIA under one of my previous businesses. So I've been in the craft space. So GoSady is it's like an evolution of all of my journey in the craft space. I think I started out selling handmade goods on Etsy. I opened an Etsy shop, and then I grew a handmade brand, and then I started designing my own patterns. And so I launched my design journey, and then through those journeys, and then I launched Stitch Up events and started working with local yarn. Through those journeys, I started to see like kind of like a fragmentation really within the fiber, like knitting and crochet spaces. Like we all had similar pain points that overlapped. So it seemed like there needed to be a central hub that kind of like solved a lot of these problems we were all facing. And so that's where the first iteration of GoSady came from, was how do I solve problems that me and my friends are having? And so what GoSady is, and that's kind of like the how we got here. Um, and really the big turning point came in January of 22. My friend Hillary, who owns Chicago, we were driving back from a actually was having a spinal procedure, and she was my ride. And we were just talking about the industry, and we realized now's the time. And her pain points as a yarn shop really overlapped with my pain points as a designer. And we were like, now's the time. So what GoSave is it's a platform for design, sell on, Etsy, Ravelry, own website, whether it be Shopify, Squarespace, or WooCommerce, however they sell their designs. It's really laborious. You take all this time to like upload a design, to create a design, and then you have to upload it to each of those platforms. And it could take, depending on your skill and your comfortability with each of those platforms, it could take you anywhere from 20 minutes to 45 minutes per listing to create a list. Why do the same work over and over when we can write a program that does that for us? So GoSady kind of streamlines for designers the ability to, through a single point, a hub, upload their pattern, and it will shoot it out to all of those other places. Um, and we are a data driven and AI powered product. So that's really exciting because the data is teaching the AI how to give you better SEO. So now designers also don't have to go to learn SEO and stay up with things as they're changing and always shifting, because the system's doing that for them. So each listing is targeted for that platform. So for example, Ravelry, as you know, is incredibly heavy with experienced knitters and crocheters and centralized space for that. The way the database is built, and Etsy is more of like a global marketplace. So the listings might be different for each audience, and so GoDaddy helps create those listings.
Okay.
And and then just to bridge the gap for makers who make, because that's the designer side, right? That's the business side of it. And then for makers, which is launching this September, for makers, it gives you a way to, you don't have to deal with the algorithms anymore and kind of like this big sea of search. You get a feed based on what your likes and preferences are, your designers, and then you get your project journal. So that's really exciting for makers, because for knitters and crocheters right now, you can only project journal that I know about. And there could be others I don't know about, but on Ravelry related project journals, I haven't found one that allows you to do it across all platforms. So this is the first time that it won't matter where the pattern is from. I can still add it to my project journal. And that's really exciting.
Great. And for people who don't know what a project journal is, what is that?
So like I think it's similar in the social space. I'm not totally sure, but like you basically it's like a diary of my project, right? Like if I but for knitting and crocheting and specifically for Gosadi, so like if I have a project, I'm gonna want to say who's the pattern, what's the yarn I'm using. It's kind of like my own documentation diary of what I'm making. And this is a digital project journal, no matter where the pattern is.
Okay.
Um, and then what's really cool is you can upload your photos, you can upload your notes, you can share it out with your community, you get a space to show your whips and all of your journals. So it's kind of fun because it's not just your project journal, you can open it up to make it a community space.
Okay. All right. Great. And where did the name Go Sadie come from?
Everybody asks that. It's a really horrible story. It's boring. So my co-founder Hillary and I needed a name for the company, and the original name that we found wouldn't pass trademark because we wanted to build something that could be globally, because there's like online crafting is an international space. So we had like under the gun of a name. Um, we were sitting around and we were like, okay, well, say, and we both love that for different reasons. We just love the name Sadie, but the Sadie domain was $8,000. And when you're a tiny startup, that's a big chunk of change. I mean, at any rate, that's a big chunk of change. So we were like, yeah, we need to do something, but we both wanted to keep Sadie because we loved it. So we were like, go Sadie, go. And we were like, okay, well, how about just go Sadie? And literally, that in about an hour conversation, that's how we landed on it.
That's always interesting to hear how people's names of their companies come about. And I know you were just recently in New York City. I had seen a post that you created on LinkedIn. So tell us about your trip to New York.
New York is so I was just at Tech Week in New York, which was, and I went to Tech Week just 2 weeks after H&H. So exciting because H&H, because we're a tech company serving the craft space, right? And so because I'm a knitter and crocheter, so is my co-founder, so we're of course we're built for our space, and so H&H was like the craft business side, and Tech Week was all of the tech universe side of it, which was super, super exciting to be in that ecosystem of founders and startups and investors and angel investors and service providers within that tech space. That's been a really exciting journey. I cannot tell you how many people I found out knit and crochet or sew and quilt that you don't know until you're
Yeah,
building something in that space. I met so many quilters and knitters and crocheters.
that's what I always tell people, to put your business, like your website link or something about your business, in your email signature, because you may be emailing your kid's soccer coach or your doctor or whomever, and you just never know who is a crafter or whose sister is a crafter who might want to check it out, etc. So that's happened to me many times.
It was wild because it happened at almost every I was at for Tech Week. I would find at least one crafter, and I'm talking about people who even, and so it's funny because one gentleman who is an executive at an institutional bank, he was he was in charge of the craft festival for years before he switched to the finance journey. And it was such a great way for me to realize that really our industry is just, we touch it all.
Yeah, we do, because we create things for people to express themselves creatively in their spare time. And so
Yeah.
there's a lot of people who want to do that, and or have done it at some point, or know somebody who loves to do that. It's pretty pervasive. So that's great. And then you also run some events. You have an event called Stitch Up Chicago. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about what is Stitch Up Chicago.
Oh, it's my baby. I love Stitch Up Chicago. So Stitch Up Chicago started because in 2016 I put up an Instagram post and I said, does anybody want to come crochet with me at Pete's Coffee by the Bean? And this was in Chicago. And between responses to that post and DMs, it was like over 100 replies. And I was like, so we're not going to fit in Pete's. Also, wait, do people really want to come do this? I started to realize that there was a space for this within my community. Like this is a need. Um, and all of the events that I'd been going to were all like peer, if you will, and not like,
Yeah, very shopping focused, like come and buy things from vendors. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And so nothing was like a community focused event. And so one of the things I started to think about was, is there a way that I can work with brands and make this a community focused event, but keep it accessible? So I launched Stitch Up Chicago in 2017, the first one. We had 20 people the first day and 25 people, so 45 people total attendance. And I always tell this story, I lost $200, but that was enough to tell me that this was worth investing in. That was enough of an acceptable loss to say, this has got, the need is here in the community. This has got momentum. And so one of the things that I started to do was work with brands and say, how could we create non-shopping immersive experiences for our fees? And so Stitch Up Chicago is just that. It's fully sponsored by the brands that support it. And what they do is they promote a workshop, right? So we always kick off. I do have to just give a shout out to Universal Yarn because in 2017, I emailed a lot of brands to see if they were interested in the new idea I had. And the only one who said yes was Universal.
And
Like,
I always really appreciate those brands that are willing to take a gamble on
yeah,
something.
that's why I always like to give them the credit, because they were like, I don't know what you're talking about, this doesn't sound like anything we do. Sure, we'll support you, and they have supported us every year since, which is also how I know it's good for the brands. And so it's a day and a half retreat in Chicago at a rooftop hotel, which is not your typical like fiber convention space. There's no shopping allowed. It's just a place to connect with community and create things. And each workshop that is sponsored, we make something with that brand's item so that we have a chance to like learn about them, and they get a chance to support the community. On a business level, it's opened opportunity for brands to get in front of customers that they might not have otherwise gotten in front of in a very personal way. It's part of that experience now. On a community level, we sell out usually the week tickets go on sale. It's blown up. It really, really, we had to like actually shrink it because we grew too much. So the feedback we got from our attendees was it's too big. We liked it better when it was retreat style, like big style. So we dropped it down this year. We're going to drop it back down to 100 cap. We'd reached 150. So we're going to drop it back down to 100. That seems to be the response. It's really because
And yeah, it's fun to make things with other people, and the conversations that you have when everybody's hands are busy and you're creating together is really a great experience. If you've never been to a craft retreat, highly recommend it.
highly recommend it. And it's so funny because I'd never been to one. So I have a lot to compare it to. And so once I started going to them to like learn and understand like how do these operate ecosystem. And it's so funny because Gosadi also, we co-produced the Creator Summit at H, which is the total opposite, right? So like Stitch Up is for the crafters and people who make for our customers. And then when we started Creator Summit, we had to put on the different hat of like the B2B and like how do businesses thrive, like create the same space, right? Like the our influencers and brands that work with creative marketing. It kind of tied all in together.
Yeah, yeah, totally interesting. So you kind of get the whole 360 view
Yeah.
of the industry and the consumer too. So very cool. So, all right, as we wrap up, is there anything else that we didn't talk about that you want to make sure to mention? Anything coming up or new things, etc.?
Yes, I will say three things. Do I get three? Can I get?
Sure.
So the biggest one is that if you're a knitter or crochet maker, we are launching makers at those in September, which is really, really exciting. That's the biggest partial release launch we have coming up. And then if you are in the industry, we have the Creator Summit already teed for 2026, which I'm sure you are as well. Like we're already in full planning 26. So, to stay on the lookout for Creator Summit back in 26. And yeah, and that's it. And just, we hope to eventually someday scale into sewing and quilting. That's our dream. We think there can be a hub for makers. But we're starting in my home love of.
Right, which makes tons of sense. Well, Michelle, this has been great. So nice to see you. I'm glad that your dog is all better, or is on the mend at least. Hope he's all better. And yeah, I'm really
Me
good to
too.
learn about your businesses and business ventures and journeys over the years as well. So really
Thanks.
nice to connect. And thanks to everybody who came today.
Thanks so much, everyone. I appreciate you learning more about us.
Bye, everybody. See you next week.